not going to fit.
It was good in 99 or 98. It's not real apropos now.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think so.
It doesn't fit, man. It's never going to fit again.
Can I throw this time?
You can throw it.
This is the year Gonzaga hopes to shed the Cinderella label once and for all.
You've been there for the last 5 years and you've put together some good games, you know. I don't think you're Cinderella. I think you're there every year, then you can't be called a Cinderella.
The Zags return all 5 starters, including preseason All-American Blake Stepp. Add to the mix Washington transfer Earl Knight, an athletic small forward, and head coach Mark Few has a team that shouldn't need a fairy godmother to get them deep into the NCAA tournament.
If we can do everything we can and just fight hard, play together, we should do fine. We'll end up in San Antonio.
You guaranteeing that, or?
I'm guaranteeing that.
Honestly, I think we have a lot of talent. I think that going to Final Four is something very realistic for us. But I think it would do an injustice to our team, to our program, to just say, you know, it's Final Four or nothing.
The respect for the Bulldogs' talent earned them a preseason number 12 ranking. Made for TV games against Maryland, Missouri, Stanford, and St. Joe's mean they now find themselves in the spotlight with a target on their backs.
That's the reason why you play college basketball. I mean, if you want to play on a team that everybody expects to lose, what's the fun? I mean, you live to have pressure in yourself.
Just because there's a little more pressure on us, I don't think that's going to bother us at all. I think, you know, if anything, it legitimizes it for us even more, that people are expecting bigger things from us, because we expect those things.
With a trip to this year's Final Four, Gonzaga's glass slipper might be put away for good.
I would say it's an elite program with the attitude of the Cinderella program, trying to, you know, get away from that stigma.
We're not Cinderella, obviously, so now we're not a mid-major, we're an elite program.
And you know, guys, I think probably the reason that Gonzaga doesn't really care for that Cinderella tag anymore is the fact that they've been able to sustain it, Digger. Is that what separates them from some of the other smaller schools, shall we say, that have made runs?
You've got to credit Mark Few for the way he has recruited. He's always had that consistency. In the last 4 years, he has 105 wins, which ties him to be 6th as a school against schools who are ahead of him with most wins, like Kansas, Duke, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Tulsa. That's the first thing you got to be impressed with. The second thing, there's a freshman this year, Adam Mortis, 6'8" from Spokane, who's the next Larry Bird, according to Mark Few. He said that today. In the first exhibition game, he had 29 points and 9 rebounds. I'm telling you guys, you know it and I know it. This team has been consistent with recruiting, consistent with playing physical on the boards, and consistent with great guards like we see in Stepp.
And I don't think they need a Final Four to validate this program as losing the Cinderella tag. This is a big-time program, and they've been good for a lot of years now. Dan Munson and Mark Few built this program together. Munson now at the University of Minnesota doing a great job there. I think this is their deepest team, their most talented team. If it's as close as some of the teams they've had in the past as they built through the season, there's no reason to think they can't compete favorably for a national championship.
Well, like any great story, you know, there's origins, there's a beginning to this story, and it goes way back to respect for bloodlines in basketball, solid bloodlines. Started with Dan Fitzgerald way back in Gonzaga history. He hired Mark Few, and he hired Dan Munson. And also there's 2 special people, Judd Heathcote and Don Munson, the father of Dan Munson, who were like special advisors and consultants to this program. And so Mark has taken it to the next level. But it all goes back to Dan Fitzgerald, a Bay Area product who played at Gonzaga and has been there for years. He's watching probably somewhere, sipping on a Heineken beer, and probably smiling.
And maybe he's hanging out somewhere close to John Stockton's father's bar, because John Stockton has a little bit to do with it. He'll show up
and Dan
every now and then.
Very close.
He'll show up and play some pickup games with the guys from Gonzaga. Hey, if you're a Big 12 fan, Andy Katz has some news on Kevin Book out of Oklahoma coming up, and also some perhaps surprises for Kansas. But we will get in step with this game not too far away as Blake gets ready to face off against Jameer Nelson in not too distant future.
Are you primed for Week 11? That's what we're here for. Countdown's got the Parcells and Belichick reunion covered.
Sports Center after the game, ESPN.
ESPN College Basketball, celebrating our 25th season.
Welcome to Madison Square Garden. The others have been terrific, but this is the main event. Gonzaga and St. Joseph. Nightcap and finale of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Dan Shulman, Dick Vitale, and Doris Burke will have the call for us. Let's go down to Dan Shulman now. Dan?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. I tell you, the guy to my right is pretty pumped up about this matchup. And yes, you're right. This is the feature game of this tournament. And about 4 or 5 years ago, if you gave the 8 programs and said Gonzaga and St. Joseph's will be the feature game, people would think you're crazy. But these two programs have elevated themselves to be considered among the very best in the country.
Well, I'll tell you, Dan, how good they are. I really believe both these clubs can make a serious run come the postseason for a Final Four berth if they stay healthy, and that is the key, staying healthy. When you look, for example, at St. Joe's, you look at that backcourt, Jameer Nelson, pound for pound, inch for inch. He may be like Sugar Ray Leonard was when he fought, the best in America. And then you talk about Delonte West, and he can score big time. On the other side, you got Blake Stepp. Ronny Turioff on the inside is a pro prospect. He told me tonight, I am going to play. I'm ready to play. He only practiced 1 day.
Coming back from a stress fracture in his right foot. We didn't know until a little while ago when Doris Burke told us that Turioff was going to play that he indeed was going to suit up in tonight's game. Our star watch, a couple of point guards and 2 of the best in the country. The West Coast Conference Player of the Year last year, Blake Stepp. He's a senior now, and Jameer Nelson, also a senior, thought about going to the NBA, came back to St. Joseph's. He should become the all-time leader in assists for St. Joseph's within the next few weeks. Dick mentioned Ronny Turioff, one of the outstanding big men for Gonzaga, is going to play tonight. Just back from an injury, just practiced for the first time yesterday. With more on Turioff, here is Doris Burke.
Thanks, Dan. It was a fracture in his right foot, the 4th metatarsal. Gonzaga actually went up to West Point to practice. Ronny was full go yesterday. He feels good. He warmed up before the game. Mark, you told us, listen, we're going to warm him up. If he feels good, we will play him. Now, he had some monster games last year, guys. We're looking for more consistency this season.
All right, Doris, thank you. You can hear the noise behind us. This is the noisiest this building has been over the last couple of days, and that's because the fans from St. Joseph's bought more than 4,000 tickets. More than 4,000 people have come north from Philadelphia up here to New York, inhabiting every nook and cranny and rafter of this building, Madison Square Garden. And there is a big-time, home-time crowd. Home-court advantage for the Hawks here tonight.
I'll tell you, Hawk Hill, man, jumps. They've had so much history down there in basketball over the years. Dr. Jack Ramsey, Jimmy Lynam.
Let's check out the lineups for tonight's game, beginning with St. Joseph's. Again, Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, as Dick mentioned, just maybe the best backcourt in America. Pat Carroll, Matt's little brother, can shoot it like Matt can, but Pat's a lefty. John Bryant and Dwayne Jones are very important. St. Joseph's need as much as they can get inside so that they don't become too perimeter-oriented. For Gonzaga, this is a scary thought. Mark Few says if everybody's healthy, this is the best team that he's had as the head coach of the Zags. Wooden Award nominees are Blake Stepp and Corey Violette. Maybe the best pro prospect, as we mentioned, is Ronny Turioff, and he's going to come off the bench. A transfer from the University of Washington, Earl Knight, despite a tender ankle, is going to see some minutes tonight. This is a deep, talented, big, experienced team that looks poised for a big-time run. How about this, Dick?
I think that's great. I tell you, the enthusiasm, the energy, you can feel it. It's almost a tournament environment here tonight. This is the Garden Rocket. It's a shame, and I say shame on you, to the St. John's fans who didn't make it happen like that last night against Marquette. Did not come out to support their kids. But tonight, Hawk Hill, man, down at St. Joe's is present. And the Gonzaga Zags, they love their Zags in Spokane. The kennel rocks and rolls. And last year, the winning streak of 29 came to an end with Jameer Nelson. 34 points scored at the end of the game to win it for, yes, sirree, Bill Martelli and St. Joe's.
In the last 5 years for the Zags, 5 tournament berths, 1 Elite 8, 2 Sweet 16s, and none of that includes last year, the Elite 8 of the Sweet 16s, when they almost beat Arizona in the second round. One of the best games that we saw all season long for St. Joseph's. 23 wins last year. They led the nation in field goal percentage, defensive field goal percentage, even though they're not that big of a team, but a great backcourt offensively and defensively, and a great home court advantage. Thousands of St. Joseph's fans are here at MSG tonight. And for more on that, back to Doris.
St. Joseph's University setting a Coaches versus Cancer ticket sales record. 4,200 tickets sold by St. Joseph's, surpassing both Duke and UConn. I just talked to Don
Martelli, the immensely popular head coach at St. John's. He's got his own television show, which is really offbeat, which we'll tell you about a little bit later. He's had feelers to go to other jobs, so-called bigger jobs, but he's a Philly guy. He wants to stay where he is. They let him be who he wants to be. Mark Few, you know, gets tempted as well, but he has built a national powerhouse at Gonzaga. St. Joe's in white, Gonzaga in blue. Jameer Nelson for three. Brian Skies to keep it alive, and the Hawks get a second opportunity.
I think really a key player for St. Joe's to be Jones on the interior. He's an improved player according to everybody. Last year, blocked shots and rebounded, played about 19 minutes a game.
Again, these teams very familiar with one another, having played nail-biters each of the last 2 years. Another miss for Nelson, and now the Zags get their first opportunity. Steph kicks it out. Corner jumper from Steph off the side of the backboard.
A little nervousness right there.
And now an offensive foul called on Corey Violet. A little over-exuberant establishing his position down in the paint.
You know, you talked about the record. St. Joe's the last 3 years, 26-7, 19-12, 23-7, 68-26. You talked about Mark Few, his 5th season at Gonzaga as the head coach. He's won at least 24 or more each season. 105-29 against good competition.
Big guy Jones comes out high to help in the offense. Now to Delonte West. This guy can be a big-time scorer, but he misses the three.
He averaged 27 a game over a 6-game period prior to having a stress fracture in his foot. Played limited minutes against Auburn when they lost a tough overtime game to Auburn.
Otherwise, St. Joe's might have had a really big season last year had West not gotten hurt. And now Gonzaga trying to establish its superior size inside. Mark Few, the head coach of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And what a job he's done taking over several years back from Dan Munson. He doesn't like the term Cinderella. He doesn't like the term mid-major. And you know what? You can't blame him, because this team, as we mentioned, is now a national program. They get great players from the Northwest. They get transfers from Pac-10 schools. And again, he thinks this could be the best team he's had.
They're signing some outstanding players, signing the likes of, we'll see him tonight, Morrison, as they missed the free throw. Also, the one thing about Mark Few and also about Phil Martelli, they're so liked by the kids. They're just genuine people. They're classy guys away from blowing a whistle.
Down to earth guys. Richard Fox at the line for the Zags.
They have depth and size. They can rotate on the inside. Little 2-2-1 press. They'll rotate back into man-to-man. Zoni trying to match up.
By Skinner to knock it out of bounds.
Trying to match up by Nelson.
On the floor for Gonzaga, Blake Stepp, Tony Skinner, Richard Fox, Corey Violet, and Adam Morrison, a true freshman out of Spokane, getting the start in his collegiate debut. He wears number 3. The lefty West knocks it down. A deep three for the Hawks.
You're not going to let West get a look like that. He'll knock that down all night. A big-time scorer. Really, he blends so perfectly with the ability of Nelson.
The overwhelming favorites in the Atlantic 10 against the overwhelming favorites in the West Coast Conference here tonight. Fox, no. Rebound for Skinner, but he can't finish.
You can feel the up-tempo. A lot more excitement out here.
The quicker the better for St. Joe's, would you say?
Well, yeah, they like to play at that fast pace, but so does the Zags. The Zags are not going to back down and slow it down.
And the Zags probably deeper than St. Joe's.
Yeah, much deeper.
Skinner inside, and there's Violet to tie the game.
Nice entry. He does a great job posting on the interior. I mean, you talk about Violet, Jurioff, and Fox. They got some size that knows how to play.
3 big bodies to split 2 positions down in the interior.
One of the great games last year was that loss to Arizona.
Jones, no, and the rebound for Violet. Maybe not too many second opportunities for the Hawks. Step. Spins by Nelson. Floater, no. And here come the Hawks. 2-on-2. Nelson with West. Wide open 3 for West. And another good block out by the Zags. Those big guys, Fox and Violet.
They know how to utilize their body. You really see it off. They block out exceptionally well. Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference has dominated the league.
Skinner short on the 3. On the go again is Jameer Nelson. This time he'll pull up for a 2. And the outside shot's not falling right now. for the guards of the Hawks.
I think there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness, feeling out one another, just like two boxers when they start a boxing match in a championship fight.
St. Joe's 1 for 7 from the floor. We're tied at 3.5 minutes in, despite a very good pace to the start of this game. Fox switches to the left hand, follows up his own miss, and taps home the third try.
I'll tell you, he's big and strong on the inside. He and Violet take a lot of space up with their bodies. They're space eaters on the inside.
6'11", 265 is Fox, and Violet listed as the exact same height and weight.
What a nice matchup. We got Steph going head-to-head with Nelson now as they rotate out of the zone. Mark Few's glove into the man-to-man. See, watch him on the inside. He's very unique on the interior. He's got all kinds of up-and-on moves, hangs with it. And there's the little tip.
3 subs coming in for the Zags. We mentioned they're deep. 3 subs, 4 minutes in, including Roni Turioff coming into the game. The outstanding junior forward, originally from Martinique, but only started playing basketball 5 years ago. He's played at the National Institute in France, and he's getting his first action now after just practicing yesterday, coming back from a stress fracture. Now a steal by Nelson after the bucket, and a quick 4-point turnaround for the Hawks.
He can put points on the board quickly. He's very explosive. Did an excellent job prior to that with the penetration and the feed for the layup.
Now Blake Stepp trying to calm things down a little bit. There's a kick ball. That'll reset the shot clock and take us to our first timeout. What a great start to this game in front of a huge St. Joseph's crowd, which loved it, those last couple of baskets by the Hawks.
There goes Nelson. Look at Nelson. Great anticipation. Then he backs away, squares his body. Nothing but nylon. The All-American. I'm telling you, he will be a candidate for National Player of the Year.
With ESPN Full Court, you'll get more than 450 additional games of college basketball. Order now.
The volcano is a sleeping giant. Anytime it can stir. Even when it's quiet, a volcano has a lot to say about our planet.
My job is to listen to the volcano.
TIAA Craft manages money for Dr. Harold or Sigurdsson.
Volcanoes, that's what I think about.
TIAA Craft, managing money for people with other things to think about.
If these walls could talk, they'd say use the new straight line stud finder. The sensor activates on contact, so you just locate, mark, and there's your stud. Stud finder, part of the straight line laser tool family.
DVD navigation, keyless ignition, and laser-assisted cruise control. Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Or is everyone else standing still? The FX from Infinity.
Experience a new version of The Two Towers on DVD with over 40 minutes of new and extended scenes and 2 additional DVDs devoted to hours of never-before-seen bonus material. It's the must-own DVD of the year, The Two Towers Special Extended Edition. Own it November 18th.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, brought to you by the Straight Line Laser Tool family.
Welcome back here to Madison Square Garden. Great start to this game between St. Joseph's and Gonzaga. A 7-5 lead for the Hawks of St. Joe's. 4.5 minutes into the game. The very highly thought of and a very popular head coach of the St. Joseph's Hawks, Phil Martelli. And alongside every great coach, Dick, as you know well, is a very strong support system, including his wife, Judy. And for more on that, here's Doris.
Thanks, Dan, in attendance tonight, Judy. And she can lay claim to the kind of basketball success that Phil Martelli aspires to. A great player at Immaculata College, she won 3 national titles during her intercollegiate basketball days.
She played for a great coach out there, Doris, Kathy Rush, who did a great job with Immaculata. His mom and dad here. His dad, mom, 50 years married. Wow.
Skinner short on the 3 for the Zags. Good rebound in traffic by Dwayne Jones of St. Joe's. This is Tyrone Barley into the game now for the Hawks. A great defender, number 12. He's the leader of the defense for St. Joseph. One of the reasons why they had the best defensive field goal percentage in all of America last year. And Gonzaga, despite some open looks here tonight, not shooting the ball well early.
I tell you, Marley is a terrific defender. He may be the best perimeter defensive player in the Atlantic 10. As you watch Nelson with that little fadeaway, he's got that great touch. You can just see it. It goes up very soft. They love him in Chester, PA.
Barley pressuring Steph. Steph flies all the way to the basket. Didn't go down, but the follow is good to bring the Zags back within 2. Give the bucket to Earl Knight, the transfer from the University of Washington. And
Jones is going to be a major factor, Mr. Schulman. I told you he's going to bring a special dimension. Blocking shots. There he is now, going to rotate over. I mean, he's just got excellent timing. It is so special when you have that dimension to your defensive team.
A redshirt sophomore out of Chester, Pennsylvania, same place that Jameer Nelson is from. Now the tap is good by Fox on the violet miss, and the Zags are back within a deuce.
And there's Fox, the transfer from out of Colorado, really hanging around the basket, utilizing, taking advantage of that size.
Blake Stepp is back into the game now for Gonzaga. Nelson fades away, and it rattles out.
He loves that little fadeaway jump shot. Just that rainbow J.
Stepp looking pretty good after injuring himself a few minutes ago. Stayed in the game for a while, then went out for a couple of minutes. Morrison. All he does is score, says Mark Few. He's got an old-style game. Jump shots, floaters, runners, left hand, right hand, nothing fancy. Maybe not great athletic ability, but all he does is score.
Well, he's got a great touch. A little walking violation on Morrison. Was the MVP in the Washington State tournament. He's got great touch. I mean, he's unbelievable. Third all-time scorer in Washington 4A history.
Nice to see a guy with a mid-range game, huh? One bounce and up with a jumper.
Averaged 27 a game in his senior year.
They recruited him when he was a junior, and he was only about 6'4" then, so Mark Hughes said nobody else was in on him. Gonzaga was really the only school interested in him. Then he grew about 4 inches his senior year.
Backdoor cut. What a great backdoor cut against a good defensive team. Remember, St. Joe's led the nation. Bill Martelli's an excellent teacher. His team led the nation. Field goal percentage last year, 37.2.
And remember, these two teams have played each of the last 2 years, and each of them were outstanding games that went right down to the final second. And in the case of last year's game, into overtime and down to the final second. Another jumper goes down for Barley and give Nelson the assist.
Barley says, wait a minute, you're talking about West, you're talking about Nelson, what about talking about me?
At the other end, a three-pointer for Sean Mallon, a redshirt freshman out of Spokane who just checked in a minute ago.
I'll tell you what, Ravio, Morrison, and certainly right there, Mallon, they got some three good-looking young players.
These are two outstanding teams, Barley or Nelson with a miss from outside. And they've developed quite a rivalry because of the two games they've played against one another the last couple of years. That's time to let the rest of the country in on the secret. Fox inside in heavy traffic.
I'll tell you one thing, they really bang on the inside. They got a little walking violation call on the interior.
And the St. Joe's fans didn't like it. We'll step aside. Gonzaga back on top by 2.
How did we design the Kia Sorento to attain the highest quality? How did it get the government's highest safety rating? How did we back it with such a great warranty and still price it thousands less than the competition? How did we do all this? We worked our freaking tails off. That's how. The obsessively perfected Kia Sorento. Get remaining 03 Sorentos for $19,635 extra, 1,000 cash back, plus 1,000 owner loyalty bonus for qualified buyers.
Success. It's more than numbers in the win column. It's a formula that finds its strength not in the individual, but in the team. A model built on the daily sacrifice of many. Part commitment, part confidence, part perseverance. The ingredients of a champion.
I'm loving it, don't you think?
It's kind of funny. I can't cook, but yet I'm never hungry. I'm loving it. My system's so hitting, you can hear it. Yeah. To the U.S. and Britain, I'm loving it.
Feeling saucy? Try the chicken parmesan sandwich. A crispy chicken patty dipped in marinara sauce with 2 slices of mozzarella cheese. Making a meal with medium fries and a Dr. Pepper.
The more you discover about the Hyundai Elantra, the more it makes sense. It's loaded with standard features like AC and power everything. Plus, only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. It's $1,600 less than a Honda Civic LX when comparably equipped. In fact, the 2004 Hyundai Elantra starts at just $13,089. When your car makes this much sense, you win. Get $1,500 cash back or 0% APR through November 30th.
In the final game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, Gonzaga up 2 on St. Joseph's. We told you about Adam Morrison. He is diabetic, and periodically during the course of the game, he has to check his blood sugar level and potentially give himself a needle, some insulin, to get his blood sugar level regulated, and he just did that during a timeout, and it's just second nature to him. It's something, yeah, it's something for us to sit here and watch it, as I'm sure it was for a lot of people at home. But for him, it's just part of his everyday life.
What a gutty kid to come out there and play. Had an outstanding high school career, averaging 27 a game, the MVP in a Washington State tournament, showing that he can battle adversity and overcome it. Blake Stepp ran a great backdoor cut when he caught Barley staring at the basketball.
Mallon with a couple of misses. Look at Skinner getting into the bucket, and the Zags are up by 4.
Skinner, a veteran who last year came in with a big-time reputation, but had a little struggle shooting the ball early.
Some of the options for Mark Few this year, because they legitimately go 10 deep, 2 at every position.
And 3 guards right now with Barley, West, and Nelson.
Small lineup for St. Joe's. Barley a little bit short. Rebound Morrison. Little hesitation. Baseline jumper over Stakaitis. He is Larry Bird.
I'm going to tell you what, he emulates Larry. Larry, are you watching? That's a kid from French Lick. Everything about him. He emulates his hero, his idol. From day one, he has loved Larry Bird. Not a bad guy to follow and emulate.
Should have gotten Corey Violette to give up number 33. Morrison's wearing 3 instead. Delonte West tries to answer. And we got contact. Turioff is called for the foul. But let's go back again to Morrison and the play that he made. You don't see many kids able to make this kind of a shot.
Just a little fadeaway jumper. He's got great touch. I'll tell you, he and Ravio have tremendous credentials. I was looking up Ravio, averaged 29 points a game his senior year at Mountain High School in Vancouver, Washington. Unbelievable. The same league that produced guards like Dan Dickow and Richie Fromm, now with the Supersonics who play for Gonzaga. Unbelievable what he did in high school.
Got a tie-up between Jones and Turioff. Jones with 3 blocks already in this game, 3 of the 5 that the Hawks have. The Arrows going to give it to the Zags.
You know, the Zags, when I talk about Ravio, his dad got drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers and went out to play in Europe, played for the University of Portland.
Now push in the back. And the foul's going to go on West, as again, the St. Joseph's fans don't like it. Better than 4,000 of them have made the trip north to Philadelphia in support of Phil Martelli's Hawks.
You know what I think is really impressive, though, when you think about it right now, if you're a Hawk fan, West and certainly Nelson have not gotten going yet, and they're right within 6.
Yeah, it's the outside shooting of Barley really early that kept them in the game. Morrison again. Rebound Violette. And it's picked off by Chet Stakaitis.
Got to get a screen for Nelson. Got to get a screen. Got a little hole in the post. I was talking about some of the great backcourt combinations earlier. When you think about tandems that are outstanding across America, you got to think about certainly Raymond Felton and McCann down there in North Carolina, Talik Brown and Gordon. What about Duhon Reddick and Ewing? Not much better than that, man. Mike Krzyzewski's got a dynamite trio. D. Brown and Deron Williams in Illinois, outstanding. Billy Edelin, Jerry McNamara up there at Syracuse.
But this St. Joe's backcourt as talented as any in the country. West off to Nelson. Look at all the moves that he makes. And he finds Stakaitis, who misses the jumper. Where's Nelson with a rebound? So at 5'11", look at the things that Jameer Nelson is making happen. His vision is rebounding. Step no. Nelson another rebound.
Heads up all the time on dribbling that ball. Heads up.
Jameer Nelson with 6 rebounds and giving him an assist right there on the bucket by West.
And there's the combination. They make great music together, just like Simon and Garfunkel are going to do here in early December. Give me some tickets, please, Dad. Simon and Garfunkel at the Garden.
St. Joe's back within 4. Knight's going to come back into the game for the Zags at the next opportunity.
They misstepped. Had a cut down the lane, was wide open.
Morrison. Somebody got a piece of that ball. Might have been Jones again, and here comes St. Joe's.
You know, it's really amazing. A kid like Morrison, not bashful. Here he is making his debut as a collegiate.
Nelson somehow finds West. The 3 is there, and it's a 1-point game.
There's that combination I talked about the way down 6. Bottom line is those two were not scoring. And now they're starting to get it together, get that rhythm.
Steph with a nice feed to Skinner, and there's another block by Dwayne Jones.
I mean, he may block 10 shots here tonight.
Nelson, the floater won't go, but he draws the foul. Well, we got so many highlights to show you from this game. Let's start with this outstanding backcourt play by the Hawks.
Well, you take a look at West with a reverse layup. He had back-to-back games last year, putting 30 on the board. And there's the little dish. He goes to his buddy. He says, shoot it, knock it down, Mr. West. What music they made. Nelson and West, as good as Simon and Garfunkel to the people in Hawk Hill.
Nelson at the line for the Hawks. Meanwhile, at the other end, Dwayne Jones did a human eraser down there. He's got 5 blocks already in this game.
And he's also from Chester, Pennsylvania. Look at this right here. Block shots, 7 St. Joe's. Unbelievable.
And Jones with 5 of them all by himself. Again, he led the Atlantic 10 in block shots last year at about 2 a game, in spite of the fact he only played about half the time, about 20 minutes a night.
He may lead the nation this year because his minutes are going to increase. When I think about St. Joe's, I think of Dr. Jack Ramsey, one of the great minds ever in the game of basketball. Pressure Basketball, his book. I got it as a kid, man, and I read it and read it and read it.
Jameer Nelson to the bench with 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Knight tries to find Turioff, and it's out of bounds to St. Joe's. Don't forget tomorrow night ESPN and ESPN2 with a couple of great college football games. It's the backyard brawl between Pitt and West Virginia on ESPN2, and then over on ESPN in high definition at 7:45 Eastern, number 3 LSU taking on Alabama.
When I was asked today on SportsCenter, can they get higher than the number 7 seed? Will they get that kind of respect?
Hey, who? Gonzaga?
Yeah, and the bottom line is they're going to have to win big games. Games like this, games at Maryland, games at Missouri, because they can't get the necessary point totals playing in their league. So when they get the chance to play the big timers, they must win. And remember this, it's unbelievably incredible. They play all those teams away from home.
Because nobody will come to their building. You might get a neutral site game, and Missouri is going up to Seattle to play. Georgia will play in Spokane Arena, but most of the games are on the road. And they're also going to play Maryland, as you mentioned. They're going to play Stanford, and they're going to play Tulsa, the bracket buster again in February.
They're playing Stanford at a World Classic, a great classic, named after a super guy. Mr. Basketball.
Steph runs down the loose ball. We're tied at 29 in a very exciting first half, and there is Stakaitis called for the foul using the body on Steph.
You know, you mentioned playing Missouri up in Seattle. One of the reasons because Quinn Snyder is from that area.
Tied at 29. We got a good one going here at MSG.
What does it take to keep up with the mind of an 8-year-old? Just some ingenuity from the cable industry in schools all across America. At Cable in the Classroom, we provide tools for parents and teachers. Thought-provoking, satisfying, and child-stimulating tools to help kids learn in ways that are fresher, faster, and more relevant to the speed of 21st century childhood than anything that has ever come before. Get up to speed. Visit Cable in the Classroom at ciconline.org.
Calling you out. Create a player, go on tour, and beat him at his own game. Tiger Woods, PGA Tour 2004. Rated E for everyone. Tee off online, only on PlayStation 2. EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's on 2. Ready? Yo, watch the
Inside that microphone is something familiar. A battery. And while you might think all batteries are the same, consider this. When Bon Jovi puts on a show, the battery that powers their microphones is always a Duracell. So whether you've got 50,000 screaming fans, or you're working a slightly smaller room, it just has to work. Duracell. Trusted everywhere.
Great game so far, tied at 29, the Zags and the Hawks. Doris Burke was over near the Gonzaga huddle. Here she is.
Mark Few just told his guys, listen, we're doing what got us in trouble last year. When they dribble drive and are leaning and shooting off-balance shots, we're leaning in. Move your feet, slide, and get in good defensive position. When they're shooting off-balance shots, do not lean into them. Jameer Nelson, an example there where he's shooting a floater. No contact. He also told his inside guys, listen, let's go in and pound the basketball. We've got the advantage inside. Don't shoot shots on their terms. No quick threes. Dan.
All right, Doris, thank you. Well, they used that size to their advantage a little bit early, but they haven't done it as much lately.
And they do have the advantage inside if they can't pound it on the interior.
Look at Earl Knight. Oh, my, what hops does he have? And again, Mark Few says, we've never had this kind of an athlete before, a guy who can go out and make plays like Knight just made.
Plays an explosive athlete. You take a look at Mark Few, one of the bright stars on a coaching horizon. You're going to watch that athletic ability he's talking about, ability to really elevate. He's an elevator man. He's got those great hops. Turioff wants the ball inside.
Knight for three. Yes.
He's going to be a big asset. The big question mark facing Mark Few, whenever you have that many players, is trying to decide who's going to be on that floor and getting a minute. You got to be very careful of trying to satisfy everybody.
You just saw the numbers, the incredible numbers that Gonzaga is putting up in the offensive glass of the second chance points. That was Phil Martelli's single biggest concern coming into this game here tonight. You heard him tell Reese and the guys that they were down 13-0 in rebounds in the game last year against Gonzaga.
Earl Knight's a guy they're counting on to be an all Marco Polo. We're especially thinking there he is right now on a wing, came from the University of Washington, transferred, should be an impact player, just like Lawrence Roberts will be down at Mississippi State. Will Bynum at Georgia Tech from Arizona. Jason Connolly when he gets eligible from Missouri, from out of VMI. And also, you watch Jammin' James White from Florida for Cincinnati. He's going to bring many a smile, and the guy doesn't smile too often on the face of Bobby Huggins.
At the line for the Hawks, Pat Carroll, again, Matt's younger brother. Pat's a lefty, but an equally talented shooter, led the Atlantic 10 in three-point percentage last year. He'll come out as Barley comes in.
Brother Matt just got picked off by the, I believe, Portland Trailblazers.
Yes. You know, Matt just had a terrific 4 years at Notre Dame. I know you got a chance to watch him a lot. He just worked hard and worked just like Pat does and made himself into an NBA caliber player.
Yes, he did. Running a little full court trap right now. Phil Martelli does an excellent job on that bench. You just like the guy. He's one of those real likable people.
Steph. Nice pass. Violent, and it's blocked. No, it's not. It's a foul on Jones, as the whistle came a little bit late, and Jones thought he had yet another blocked shot.
I think Jones rotating over inside. He's going to make people conscious of the fact that he's on the interior. There he is rotating over with the block a little bit late.
He's already been credited with 5 blocks here tonight. He might have gotten the ball clean. Got the left forearm down in the chest of Violet. Maybe that's where the contact was and where the call came from.
That's amazing. I mean, it seems like Violet's been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Violet seems like he's been here.
All those guys, Santangelo and Fromm and Gordon, it seems like all of them were there forever.
Hey, 1999, they came so close to getting to the Final Four. We have not had a team from without the power, from not coming from the power conferences in the Final Four since '79, when Penn out of the Ivy and the kid from French Lick, Indiana, carried Indiana State to the Final Four, the year that the Magic Man cut the net stand.
And now we've got the next generation of the kid from French Lick, right? And Adam Morrison, the guy who emulates him, trying to help his team to the Final Four. Here's Steph. Boy, a lot of bump in there. And, oh, it's on Steph for getting the forearm out there.
Offensive foul.
Steph has been defended by West and Nelson and Barley tonight, and he was just having a tough time because he's playing all these minutes, and they are using the body on him, and they are using their quickness on him.
I don't know about that call in the mid-court area. To me, that's a no call.
Ravio back into the game now for Gonzaga. He's defending West with the ball.
I'll tell you, Ravio, I like him. He comes on the court. He's got great spark.
Nelson being defended by Knight, who's about 7 inches taller than he is. West bobbles. Nelson recovers. 8 on the shot clock.
He's got a great change of direction, Jameer Nelson. A great front change. Frees him.
But an outstanding first half between the Bulldogs of Gonzaga and the Hawks of St. Joseph's. The feature game here in the 4-game 2-night Coaches versus Cancer Classic. 2 ranked teams, number 12 Gonzaga, number 18 St. Joe's, both overwhelming favorites in their own conferences, and both in the minds of Dick Vitale and many others, teams that potentially have what it takes to get all the way to the Final Four.
Oh, they can beat anybody on a given day. There's no doubt about it. I mean, these clubs, you've got to be prepared against them. If they stay healthy, they're going to be a legit threat. I mean, last year, Auburn goes to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
I mean, if there's a healthy, for example, Valenti West in that game, they may not win that game, Auburn, to get where they're at. But they played hurt, and that's the key to, Dan, when you're talking about March, not losing key players.
Well, how about Gonzaga losing in double overtime to Arizona in the second round?
Incredible.
Blake Stepp has a shot that he probably hits 9 times out of 10. It just didn't drop for him that day. Otherwise, who knows what kind of a run Gonzaga may have had last year.
It was one of the great games ever in college basketball.
Ravio, the freshman, at the line, gives Gonzaga a 6-point lead. Stepp on the bench right now, having played a lot of minutes and having to work awfully hard every single possession to get the ball up the floor against this very quick St. Joe's perimeter.
See, last year, they would really take a real drop-off with Stepp going to the sideline. But with Ravio right now to run the point, I mean, that kid has got some understanding of the game, and he really seems fearless.
New guys are Ravio, the freshman, Morrison, the freshman, Knight, the transfer, is now eligible. I mean, they got a lot of extra bodies this year.
And he's going against an All-American right now, and he's not backing down.
Tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern on ABC, you can see number 10 Purdue taking on number 4 Ohio State in a Big Ten showdown. Others will see Kansas State, Nebraska, NC State, Florida State, or Arizona State, Washington State. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Ohio State right now 3rd with the BCS standings.
St. Joe's 13-1 last year at home. Their only loss was to Xavier. David West and company beat them in overtime. When I think of St. Joe's, I think of a great win. I will never forget when Jimmy Lynam shocked America when they beat number 1 the ball in the NCAA tournament. Jimmy, a great teacher, great clinician, does a phenomenal job as a speaker at camps.
Ravio continues to knock down free throws. The 6'1" freshman out of Vancouver, Washington. Much of the talent that Gonzaga has does come from the Pacific Northwest, but they're starting to broaden their horizons a little bit as more and more high school players learn about Gonzaga and the quality of the program. Gonzaga becoming more and more of a national program.
You know, Ravio grew up in Europe. He was born in Belgium. His dad was playing all over the European leagues until he was 10 years of age. Boy, that's really amazing. He speaks 5 languages. I wish I could speak 1.
Nelson again being defended by Knight, and now Knight is going to be called for the foul. 23 seconds away from halftime. Reese, Digger, Jay, and Steve will give you all the nuggets you need to know on the college basketball season just underway. Plus, a look back at our first game tonight, Pittsburgh and Alabama.
I really believe that this year you're going to see a couple of games where Nelson's going to have 40-point explosions. I really believe that's the kind of scorer this kid is going to be. Dick Hoops Weiss, my buddy, absolutely loves him.
You know, and he did it right, too. He went to the pre-draft camp. He didn't hire an agent, so he retained his eligibility. He played well by all accounts at the pre-draft camp, but he wasn't guaranteed. He couldn't get people to guarantee him he'd be a first-round pick. He wanted to finish his education, knew this team could have a great year if he came back, and he made what I know you think is the right decision, one that he'll probably be thankful for many years from now.
Well, he would not have been a guaranteed first-round selection like Mo Williams, and that was a second-round selection with the 8th point guard taken.
And the significance of that, if you're a first-round pick, is a guaranteed contract. Right, second-round pick.
You're struggling. You're begging and pleading.
Ooh, not even Knight could come down with that errant pass from Bankhead, and now St. Joe's will get the ball back.
Good job by Phil Martelli, changing the defenses. His dad here, his dad and mom, married 50 years.
One of the referees toppling over some cheerleaders. That's Reggie Cofer hitting the floor down at the far end.
Hey, you know what's really interesting? Last year, Gonzaga went to the free throw line 202 times more than their opponents, meaning they're pounding the ball inside, getting the ball to the interior. My all Rolls-Royce teams, my top 10 players in America, Jameer Nelson is one of them.
And who's the first teamers? Give me the 5 first teamers.
Well, you know, we go Okafor, Hodge, Balding, I love him, Missouri, Chris Thomas, Notre Dame, Ike Diago, we talk Nelson, Arthur Johnson, Romain Sato, Luke Jackson of Oregon, and Darius Rice down in Miami.
30-second timeout here, and as we celebrate our 25 seasons of college basketball, time to flash back into the ESPN archives.
Don't even think about decaf tonight. Stay up. This is going to be a lot of fun. Kick out less than 2 seconds. That's the deuce. Lobos running, looking to tie, or maybe the lead. Here come the Sounds with a chance to win it. It's a charge, and we're going to overtime. Marlins, Felix, Banks scores. New Mexico by 1. Kick out, penetrating, floating, banking, scoring. How cool was that? New Mexico showed me a lot tonight. Gonzaga showed me a little bit more.
Fran Paschilla, now one of us in that shot. An outstanding, exciting overtime win for Gonzaga. That was Dan Dickow, and what a career Dan Dickow had. And after the transfer, what a couple of years he had at Gonzaga, really taking the program to a new level. And now Mark Few, with all the talent he's got here, trying to maintain that level, maybe even to get further in the tournament than they've ever been before.
Well, Dickow in the NBA right now with the Atlanta Hawks. Anybody can make an NBA roster has got to be special.
Nelson, he's special. The follow is good by Stakaitis.
Stakaitis right there with that tip. And I say special. Today it is so difficult when you see some outstanding guys on the collegiate level who are wigged and cut in the NBA. Shows you how difficult it is to make an NBA roster.
0.7 of a second left. Gonzaga with the ball up 4.
Remember, if it's ever 0.3, the only way you can score is with a tip-in.
Knight does not get it off in time as the first half comes to a close. Looks like maybe the third nail-biter in as many years for Gonzaga and St. Joseph's. Jameer Nelson with a big first half. Blake Stepp, the numbers not quite there for the All-American from Gonzaga. But a very exciting first half, and we look forward to more great NCAA action when we come back. First, though, Doris Burke standing by with the head coach of Gonzaga, Mark Few.
Mark, as expected, Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, they combined for 20. How do you do a better job with them in the second half?
Well, I mean, they're going to take the majority of their shots. We got to make sure we drive their percentages down, but those guys are going to score a majority of their points because they take the majority of their shots.
You nearly doubled them up on the board, yet you only lead by 4. Can you get better inside play?
Yeah, we need to finish a lot of those shots inside. We missed a lot of bunnies in there that we need to just slow down, take it up strong, and shoot the shot on our terms.
Good luck in the second half. Dan, back to you.
All right, Doris, thank you. A big second half to come and a big halftime show to come. Reese Davis, Digger Phelps, Jay Billis, and Steve Lavin when we come back.
Exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball. Brought to you by the Panasonic DVD recorder. Watch whatever you want, whenever you want. Panasonic. Ideas for life.
The volcano's a sleeping giant.
Yeah, Gonzaga just dominated. That's our game track. They just dominated the glass against this much smaller St. Joseph's team.
Yeah, well, that's a real strong suit when you look at Gonzaga, and that's why they got the 4-point lead. Bottom line is, you think about West and think about Nelson, they certainly have not shot the ball exceptionally well, but inside it's been the domination on the offensive board by Gonzaga. Their size is certainly a big plus when you look at Torrio, Violet, guys that can really hop like Knight, and that has been really, really a great asset for them.
An overwhelming rebounding advantage for the much bigger Gonzaga team, and obviously a corresponding advantage in second chance points. The high scorer in the game, Jameer Nelson with 10, Corey Violet 10 rebounds, Dwayne Jones of St. Joe's 5 blocks in an action-packed first half. Let's go to Doris Burke.
Thanks, Dan. I asked St. Joe's about that significant rebound differential. He said, listen, the fact of the matter is they're bigger and stronger inside. Our field goal percentage defense is right where we want it to be. He said the only thing we can do is continue to attack on the offensive end, use the dribble to test their foot speed. So look for more dribble drive from St. Joe's in the second half.
Well, I guess to oversimplify, Dick, it's the classic matchup of size versus speed, and you always tend to focus on the size advantages coming into the game, but then in the game, you see that speed has just as many advantages.
Well, speed and ability to shoot the ball. Carroll certainly has not been able to get any looks at all. And that really hurts St. Joe's. He's such an outstanding shooter. What a drive right there by Nelson. I think you're going to see a big half here out of Nelson. I really do. And remember this, Steph, who's been slow to lose by an injury, I thought in the first half, was 1 for 7. And we haven't seen this team, as Mark Hughes said, their team has not been together. They've had so many injuries.
West with a steal. Look ahead to Carroll, and just like that, the Hawks have tied the game.
And they're jumping with joy in Hawk Hill. Believe me, they're jumping with joy in Chester, PA.
And remember, there are thousands of them, at least 4,000 here. How about Morrison?
I'll tell you, Morrison, unique. I mean, you look at him run up and down the court, you say, there's no way he can play at this level. Flat out, he can play. He can shoot the basketball, moves well without the ball.
As Mark Hughes says, all he does is score. You just can't find a way to stop him because he can score in so many different ways. West, Carroll, quick trigger.
They're trying to get him some looks. He's too good of a shooter not to get some touches.
And the Hawks are back on top, 41-40.
Nelson doing a good job checking Steph, who's an outstanding offensive threat.
And there's a bump on Nelson picking up his second foul. Doris Burke talked about Phil Martelli wanting to use the foot speed, the dribble drive, to set up some scoring chances.
Well, that's dribble drive, but utilize the screen really well to get down that lane. A lot of teams are really going to that dribble drive penetration, but it certainly helps when you got outstanding guards that can make that happen.
And Nelson, one of those guys, one of the premier guards, one of the premier players in college basketball.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, Dan. He is superstar all over.
Bill Martelli says he's the best player in college basketball, and he's a better person than he is a player. He gushes about Jameer Nelson.
I gush about him, too, if my coach don't. I mean, I'll be gushing and gushing.
Steph finds Morrison.
That helps you to get a 7-year contract extension.
Yeah, it's true.
I know one thing, he sees the same barber you and I do. I was teasing him about that.
He takes the teasing pretty well. He doesn't mind, just like you. I'm still learning to deal with the teasing.
Oh, that's it, real life.
Here's Carroll. John Bryant, good D there by Violet to cut him off of the baseline.
Gotta get some screens for Carroll.
Nice.
Nice play. I mean, are you kidding me? Created by the all-common Madison. I mean, that's drive, draw, and dish. The 3D man as he gets into the lane and heads for Rockoff.
Nelson with 7 assists already, and Gonzaga needs a timeout.
Remember, I told you, he's going to have a big second half. He's going to score, and he's going to create.
The Hawks have outscored the Zags 9-2 so far here in the second half, and the All-American Jameer Nelson is the biggest reason why.
Take a look right now, a little shake and bake, get in the lane. Mr. Nelson dishes the rock, and there's the little jam by Grimes.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
The volcano is a sleeping giant. Anytime it can stir. Even when it's quiet, a volcano has a lot to say about our planet.
My job is to listen to the volcano.
TIAA Craft manages money for Dr. Harold or Sigurdsson.
Volcanoes, that's what I think about.
TIAA Craft, managing money for people with other things to think about.
Mr. London, your vehicle should be unlocked.
Oh, you guys are absolute geniuses. You are wonderful.
Glad we could be of assistance.
OnStar is available on 51 GM models.
Airport? Well, my name is Jim.
I just love the smell of your limo, Jim.
Oh, yeah? Well, it's a new car.
I love that new car.
Yeah, I wish it was mine.
Oh, so good, Jim. It's leather.
Here we are.
I'll meet you at the polo match too. Okay? Yes. I know. I know. Well, Mommy's going to meet me again.
I don't play for fame. I don't need your approval. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I ball. And I don't get them anywhere else.
On-site emergency, this is Greg. Sir, I've got a signal that your airbag is deployed. I'm going to contact police and let them know that where you are, okay?
OnStar is available on 51 GM models.
The final game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic has lived up to expectations so far. St. Joe's up by 3 on Gonzaga, along with Dick Vitale and Dorisburg. I'm Dan Schulman here at Madison Square Garden, and the story in the first 2.5 minutes of the second half, Dick, the outstanding playmaking ability of Jameer Nelson.
Yeah, it's been the Nelson show. We've expected that. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Done a heck of a job here in the second half. A little smile on his face. Certainly Blake Stepp not smiling. Well, a little smile right there, but he knows that he certainly has been a little hindered.
You know, and I think there's a real healthy respect between these two programs. Again, they played each other last year and the year before, and I think they can kind of relate to one another. They're two great teams that don't get as much respect nationally as they should. A lot of other schools won't play them because they're kind of afraid to lose to them, and in the RPI they might suffer and all that. That's an old story, but I think these two programs can really relate to one another.
I think there's tremendous respect. There's no doubt about it.
Hey, they ran this play once in the first half. Better recovery by St. Joe's to snuff it out here in the second half. Turion might have gotten away with a wall. Step for 3. And another rebound for Nelson. Look at the little guy go get it.
I'll tell you, they need that jump shot to start the fall for Step.
6th rebound for Nelson to go with 12 points and 7 assists.
They're going to be a different basketball team when they get a healthy Turion. He gets a little rhythm, starts practicing. Remember, he's only been with them for 1 day.
And Tony Skinner has had a bad knee in the preseason. Earl Knight missed some time with a bad ankle. The Zags are not a fully healthy team. Nelson steps in. It won't go down, but the offensive rebound frees up West for a good one.
They went into a zone, 2-3 matchup. Tough to zone this club. With the shooters they have with West, Carroll, and Nelson, very difficult to give them any kind of gap or any kind of seam.
Largest lead of the night for the Hawks. A double out of the perimeter on Violet. He's going to take it to the hoop. And he lost the handle on the ball a little bit as he was trying to get it up and toward the rim.
Hey, one thing about West, he plays under control. A lot of poise about him. A little battle on the inside. Good rebound. Kicks the ball out.
Pat Carroll with the rebound, and West knocks down the 3.
He's got that poise. His poise usually leads to points.
Nelson and West shot just 6 for 22 in the first half, but they both come out playing very well here in the second half.
You know, 6 for 22, but I know that West had so many shots. The way he shot them, real soft touch. They just didn't fall in, but they were really close. Bill Martelli going in right now, 4th winner as a coach at St. Joe's. The leader, Bill Ferguson, with 309 wins. Dr. Jack Ramsey with 234. Jim Boyle, 151. And Mr. Martelli has 149.
Carroll with a good look.
He can shoot it. He can flat out shoot the rock. You give him any kind of look. There was a time last year in the middle of the season he was shooting better than 50%. A TO will be called by Mr. Few. Oh, they're rocking and rolling in Hawkill land. Over 4,000 here on the Julius and the AD, the fine AD, and maybe 6,000 as the kick out.
By Nelson again.
Yes, sir. Nelson creates it. His penetration ability leads to the opportunity. Oh, look at that flag. I'm going to run around with that flag.
They're turning Madison Square Garden into their own home court here. And so far tonight, you can't guard them. Thousands of St. Joe's fans up from Philly for this game. Loving every minute of this second half. There's the Hawk mascot. Chris Bertolino, Phil Martelli telling us a story. Bertolino's the guy inside the costume, has lost almost 100 pounds since he got to campus as a freshman.
I'll tell you, Bertolini, Martelli, DeJulia. I mean, it sounds like an Italian construction company. Don DeJulia did a great job as a player. Played for Dr. Ramsey. They were 26-1 in 64 and 65 when he played on the team. Former commissioner of the MAAC.
Now the Zags had a 4-point lead coming into the second half, but it's 15-2 St. Joseph's since the break. Violet. And another block for Dwayne Jones. It's a broken record, but that's his 6th.
I'll tell you, he's really owning that 3-second area in terms of block and shot, making people think twice, bringing the ball into the lane.
Nelson and West and Carroll at the offensive end, but it's Dwayne Jones getting it done at the defensive end for the Hawks.
A new version of The Two Towers in the special extended edition DVD. New and extended scenes. Crafted by Peter Jackson.
Here's what you have become.
Exclusively for DVD. Only November 18th.
Nearly did this.
It's pure evil. You're scaring her. She needs to be scared, and so do you.
Opens everywhere November 26th.
Hey guys, meet the new guy.
Hi, I'm Bob Holtkamp.
Hey, help yourself to some snacks. Speaking of which, you know what would taste good about now?
Yeah, a big, hot and juicy cheeseburger.
With everything.
I can almost taste it.
Telling me, if there were a place to get a hamburger that good this late, I'd not only drive, I'd buy.
Really?
Wendy's classic hamburgers are made fresh, so they're always hot and juicy, so you can eat great even late.
You must be the new guy.
Yeah, thanks.
Wendy's, it's better here.
Do you go to extreme measures to measure space? Introducing the new straight line laser tape. Just aim, shoot, and measure, and you'll instantly know the size of any job. Laser tape, part of the straight line laser tool family.
Rockstar Games presents Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Out now on PlayStation 2 and Xbox as part of the double pack with Grand Theft Auto 3. Rated M for mature.
All St. Joseph's here in the second half, Dick, and as you predicted coming out of the break, all Jameer Nelson.
You must be looking for something for me to buy after the game for you, trying to stroke me here. But there it is right now, the kick out. I'm going to tell you, West and Carroll making threes, Dan, certainly is big, but it's all been created by the unbelievable penetration ability of West. Carroll's got that stroke. He gets any open look that's going down.
These three backcourt guys play beautifully together, Carroll, Nelson, and West.
I don't count out the Zags, though. This game is far from over. They're not going to back down from anything. They're going to get steps going. They're going to get him to make some shots, man.
Bankhead and Mallon have come back into the game now for Gonzaga. Step, a nice look inside, and Morrison again showing that mid-range game, little 8-foot floater.
I'll tell you, that type of dandy can flat-out play. I love him. I love him. He steps on the floor. Good things happen. Got to get into the zone. I think this is a tough club to zone.
10 points for Morrison. If you missed the story in the first half, he is diabetic, and we saw him in the first half as the Zags come up with a rebound, have to check his blood sugar level and then give himself an injection during a timeout on the bench, something that he goes through on a daily basis. Violet turns it over. Here's Delonte West. He's got Nelson. West with a pull-up from 17. Not there. Offensive rebound. Put back in a foul.
What a great offensive rebound. Really attacking the glass. This is more than just a Jameer Nelson basketball team. St. Joe's got some great support players as well.
John Bryant getting the bucket. He's got 6 tonight, and he'll go to the line.
You know, John Bryant won the battle with a 4 slot.
With Dave Mallon, who subsequent to that suffered a stress fracture, and he's out 3 to 6 weeks. So Bryant and Jones are very important. There's no experienced guy to play as a backup in the front court for Phil Martelli. 3 raw freshmen behind Bryant and Jones. So these guys are going to get a ton of minutes.
And kids love that, man. Kids love minutes.
Boy, Steph's seeing some pressure when he tries to bring the ball up. That'll be a frustrating game for him tonight. Nice look, though, inside. Violet follows his own miss.
There's Violet on his interior. It's a good look by Steph. Excellent passer.
Barley back into the game for St. Joe's. Great defender. Also hit a couple of outside shots in the first half. So they're going with the 3 small guards and then the 2 big guys in Bryant and Jones.
Trying to match up on the outside. Trying to find the shooters.
Nelson right by Bankhead. Kicks it to West. West baseline. Got up in the air and then commits the foul.
You know, watching this kid play tonight, Nelson, I don't care about size. You look at Boykins right now in the NBA. Jameer Nelson can play in the NBA. I don't think there's any doubt about it. This kid has the toughness and most of all, great ball handling skills and shooting ability.
It was Gonzaga by 4 at halftime, but St. Joseph's, led by Jameer Nelson, has dominated the second half.
I'll tell you one thing, Brady, Bass, and Ross, the playing assistants for Phil Martelli, have done a great job also working with these guys. Offensive foul.
Good call there on Bankhead. He got the left arm out there.
No doubt about it. Barley does a terrific job defensively. Beats him to the spot. That's called DBT. You understand what that means?
DBT.
Oh, DBT. You drive them, you beat them, and you turn them. You drive them to a spot, you beat them, and you turn them.
Well, again, the superior quickness of St. Joseph's, making it very difficult for the Zags to get the ball up.
Jameer Nelson, are you kidding me? Are you serious how good this kid is? I may revamp my first-team All-American team.
Mallon for 3 to get the lead down to 7. What did you just say?
He's a diaper dandy, too. Hey, preseason All-American is one thing.
Yeah.
It's postseason All-American that counts.
Yeah. Jameer Nelson on Dick's second All-American team. Chris Thomas, the outstanding point guard at Notre Dame, is his first-team All-American point guard. Look at Nelson again.
Oh, what a look inside.
And he got it back. Got the ball on a string right now. Look at the step.
Oh, is he a flush of the wall?
Barley.
Oh, is he going to be a sight to see? Get your tickets early. Hey, everybody, get your tickets early in Philadelphia. Line up to see the Jameer Nelson show. And it will not be a circus. It will be basketball at his best level. He is for real. I'm sorry, Chris Thomas, I may change my All-American team. Oh, you're going to have to be good, Mr. Thomas, to be better than Mr. Nelson.
Unbelievable. How does he know there's a guy there? I mean, he's surprising teammates with his passes, and they're right on the money.
You know, I have not seen him in person. This is the first time. I'm telling you, why couldn't my bosses send me to Philadelphia to see this kid? Wow, is he worth the price of admission?
Well, here's what you got to do next year. You got to talk to Dan Steer, you got to talk to Burt Magnus, and you say you want Gonzaga to play St. Joe's again, and you want to do the game.
I know.
Deal?
I don't know if I have that kind of power.
Ravio inside tonight, 57-49.
Ravio and Knight and Morrison are going to be great assets. And trust me, when this club starts to practice together and has their entire club, Mark Few and his kids, they're going to have a dynamite year.
3 or 4 players playing, but not 100% for Gonzaga tonight.
Only down 8.
Carroll. And the rebound for Violet. St. John's, even with that miss, 10 for 18 from 3-point range.
I like the toughness you can see in the play of this kid with the ball. Ravio.
Foul's going to go on Barley of St. Joseph's, and Ravio's only about 155 pounds. He looks like a kid out there.
You know, Steph can't get any looks whatsoever at the goal. I mean, here's a guy that's been an incredible player, the MVP of their conference, John Wooden Award nominee, All-Conference 2 years, honorable mention All-American in 2003.
Nelson getting a huge ovation, Dick, as he goes to the bench.
He was a quarterback in high school when you talk about Blake Steph.
Ravio turns it over and a tie-up. The arrow will keep it with the Zags. Now we're going to step aside. A bit of a breather for us and a bit of a breather for Jameer Nelson. You know he's going to be back before too long. What a night he has had, and the Hawks are up by 8.
Morning, Joe.
New haircut?
No. New shoes? No.
Hey, Joe. You been working out?
No.
Hey, Joe. Shave your mustache?
Nope.
You sure that's not a new haircut?
Yes.
Did you just get back from vacation?
No.
Did you get a promotion?
No.
Did I?
No.
What's different? He finally asked his doctor about Viagra. Ready to ask your doctor about Viagra for the first time? Find out if a free sample is right for you. To learn more, visit Viagra.com. Ask your doctor and see the difference.
Home is where the hoop is. With ESPN Full Court, you'll get more than 450 additional games of college basketball. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV, or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
More and more people are coming to the same conclusion. The Hyundai Accent makes sense. It's loaded with standard features like front side impact airbags. And only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. No wonder the Accent's the #1 seller in its class. The 2004 Hyundai Accent, starting at just $10,039. When your car makes this much sense, you win. Get $1,500 cash back or 0% APR for 60 months.
I'm loving it, don't you think it's kind of funny? I can't cook, but yet I'm never hungry. I'm loving it. My system's so hitting, you can hear it in Timbuktu, the U.S. and Britain. I'm loving it.
Feeling saucy? Try the chicken parmesan sandwich, a crispy chicken patty dipped in marinara sauce with 2 slices of mozzarella cheese. Make it a meal with medium fries and a Dr. Pepper.
His teammates have just taken over the second half. The Hawks are up 8 with 11:55 to play. The most excited person in the building, I would think, is Jameer's mom, Linda Billings, who has come from Chester, Pennsylvania, Jameer's hometown, to cheer on her son tonight. Here's Doris Burke.
Well, St. Joe's coach Phil Martelli calls Jameer the Pied Piper of Chester, Pennsylvania. Chester on the outskirts of Philadelphia. There is Linda Billingsley arriving today, and Jameer goes back to visit several times a year. He talks to his old high school team. He has become such a part of the fabric of Chester that they actually had to have 2 buses to accommodate the family and friends that accompanied him to Madison Square Garden tonight, Dan.
Well, great to see, Doris, that 2 busloads of people from Chester and thousands of folks from Philadelphia, St. Joe's fans, have come down to this game. Mallon cleaning up the mess there to bring the Zags back within 6.
He's going to be an asset to their club on the inside as well. That's one of the advantages of playing and staying near home. Playing around there, your people still follow you. Don't forget who you are. So many kids don't understand that when making a choice in terms of going to score.
Violet gets a rebound in heavy traffic, and here comes Blake Steps.
They've done a great job defending Step.
Trying to go by Lee, knocked away, turnover, St. Joseph's has it. Now Lee almost gives it right back. Wayne Lee getting a little bit of time, a sophomore from Jersey City.
Not going to get a lot of minutes with Mr. Nelson on the court. But I'll tell you one thing, he's going to improve in practice going head-to-head with him.
Marley and Lee and Stakaitis all out on the floor at the same time, along with Carolyn Jones.
Well, right now, you got to make a little run. If you're Gonzaga, you got to take advantage of this.
Yeah, a lot of the regulars are on the bench right now for the Hawks, but Nelson's getting ready to check back in, and so is West.
You got to shut him down here. You got to contain him in this possession. Can't let them score here.
Here's Lee.
Jones with a slam. That really hurts. They score in that possession. They got the people resting, and now they go up by 8.
Tell you, one guy's probably liking this, maybe watching it back at home, is our own Digger Phelps' son-in-law, Jamie Moyer, who went to St. Joe's. Now he lives up in Seattle because, of course, he plays for the Mariners, but probably still a Hawks fan. And Jamie Moyer, one of the good guys in baseball, the Roberto Clemente Award winner this year.
One of the great guys in baseball, and what a winner he's been. He's one of the best left-handers in the game, maybe the best left-hander in the game, because he knows the art of pitching. And I'll tell you one thing, he married a beautiful young lady in Karen. They got a great family, and I'll tell you, with the cash he's making, he's probably going to donate millions right down there to St. John. I'm sorry, Jamie.
He doesn't make as much as Digger makes.
No, I know.
Jones picks up the foul, his third. Step to the line, and look at what a tough night it's been for Blake Stepp. Pounded every single time he gets the basketball, and now here comes Nelson back into the game. Stepp, the West Coast Conference Player of the Year.
Excellent free throw shooter, just a tough athlete, played for his dad in high school.
One of two from the line. Rebound, Delonte West.
Look at the confidence right now this guy's got. Can he play in the NBA? I believe he can start right now for the New York Knickerbockers. I don't think their point guards are any better than Jameer Nelson.
And a stoppage with some debris on the floor. Sunday, for the top 9 women's college basketball teams in the land to meet in the State Farm Tip-Off Classic on ESPN2. First, it's number 3 Texas against number 2 Duke at 2:30. Then number 5 Kansas State battling Purdue at 5 o'clock. The State Farm Tip-Off Classic on ESPN2.
Are you kidding? Look at that drive right there. Look at that little drive on that baseline. He can go right. He can go left. He can shoot the long distance ATT jump shot.
16 now for Jameer Nelson. Knight at the other end. The miss. West with a rebound. A breakout now for St. John's. West spins, and it's blocked by Knight.
They are going to be so much fun to watch. Now watch this play right here. Look at the spin. Beautiful spin along the baseline. Uses the left hand. Lays it on the glass.
You know, when Phil Martelli was talking about Nelson being the best college basketball player in the country, he paused and then he said, if he's not the best player in the country, he's certainly the most valuable. He said, you take Nelson off our team, we don't get invited to this tournament. And he's right about that.
Well, he is right about that. You know, he sees the kid every day, but obviously, you know, he's a little biased.
Sure.
You talk to people across America that have great, great players, they're going to think that their kid is the best. And out of Connecticut, they love Mr. Okafor.
How about Delonte West? He's holding up his end of the bargain tonight.
He's not going to back down from anyone. He's a poised scorer. He's got a scorer's mentality.
As you mentioned in the first half, he scored an average of 27 points per game over 6 games until he suffered a stress fracture in his leg last year that he tried to play through the rest of the way, but it wasn't the same. But he is a terrific scorer and was the most improved player in the A-10 last year.
Now look at him right here. He's going to use the screen. Freeze it right here. See him use that screen? He's going to use that screen right now. And he's going to beat the defender with a little one-on-one and takes it right to the goal with the left hand and converts. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough to find a better backcourt working together the way those two kids are in sync.
And you add in Carroll on the wing shooting jumpers, Barley off the bench playing defense. I mean, they've got a great backcourt.
Well, so do they really have a great one down at Duke as well.
Yes, yeah. Ravio passed up a shot. Gets it back from Morrison. Plenty of time to shoot it. Stepp. Gets one to go down.
About time. They needed that for Blake Stepp. That's a big one for him. He's not going away. They're only down 8. They need a couple of stops.
Remember that Gonzaga won on a last-second shot just about on St. Joseph's floor 2 years ago. West again. St. Joe's went out and won in overtime on Gonzaga's floor last year.
You know, Nelson's so tough. It leaves your coach on the sideline. You're wondering what to do. If you play man-to-man, Nelson can beat you off the dribble. You go to the zone, they shoot over the top of the zone. They create problems either way you go. So Martelli's got to be a happy guy.
Nelson with 16. West with 16. The backcourt for the Hawks lighting up the Zags right now here in New York City. 66-55 St. Joe's. A 15-point turnaround here in the second half thanks to Nelson and West.
The volcano is a sleeping giant. Anytime it can stir. Even when it's quiet, a volcano has a lot to say about our planet. My job is to listen to the volcano.
TIAA Craft manages money for Dr. Harold Sigurdsson.
Volcanoes, that's what I think about.
TIAA Craft, managing money for people with other things to think about.
Yo, what's up?
That's right, he back.
Yo, yo.
No matter where you are, with Verizon wireless phones from Radio Shack, you can take and send pictures instantly. Not that I'm going Hollywood or anything. So come to Radio Shack, your wireless phone headquarters.
Isn't that...
Now get a $50 Radio Shack mail-in rebate with 2-year annual agreement when you buy and activate the new LG VX6000 with built-in digital camera. Send pictures to other phones and any email address. Radio Shack.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball. Brought to you by It's Back with more digital music than anyone. Napster.com.
St. Joe's up 11 here at Madison Square Garden. Won a second half for the Hawks. Doris Burke was near the Gonzaga huddle. Doris, what's going on over there?
Mark View told his players, listen, this game is right there for us. We cannot take quick shots. We cannot try to force the action, take it possession by possession. He said defensively on the drives to the rim, he said, where is our help? He said, we can't survive against these guards with good help. We've got to have great help tonight from our post players.
Well, what he's talking about, Doris, what really makes it very difficult, if you give any kind of help at all on a penetration ability to Nelson, guys are going to be wide open on the side. It's almost very difficult to give help in this situation because the bottom line is once you give help, open guys are right there on the wings to shoot it. Guys like West and Carroll.
Let's see how much of the shot clock the Zags use this time down the floor. Ravio with good speed, and the follow is there for Violet.
Violet hanging around the basket. Ravio gets to the glass. And Violet finishes it off with that conversion.
Dick Violet's got 14 rebounds in this game. But the Zags are still down 9. Look at St. Joseph shooting here in the second half.
Nice look.
West to Barley. Good rebound by Steph. Nice look to Skinner. No call. The follow, yes, and the Zags are getting back into it.
They're going to make a little run right now. You look at the Zags, there's a timeout by Phil Martelli, an excellent timeout. The Zags are going to have a great year. I mean, you got to remember this now. Ronny Turioff, who's out right now, is not your normal player. I mean, this is a pro potential player, and a guy's been out with a foot injury. Bottom line is they've had a lot of guys injured. They have not had their rhythm and timing, and they're playing an outstanding team tonight.
Tomorrow night, ESPN and ESPN2 have a couple of great college football games for you, beginning at ESPN2 at 7 o'clock. Heisman hopeful Larry Fitzgerald and the Pitt Panthers look to remain undefeated in Big East play as they take on West Virginia, the backyard brawl. Then, number 3 LSU against Alabama, 7:45 Eastern over on ESPN. A recap of Game 1. Carl Krauser of Pittsburgh had a huge second half in Pitt's 71-62 win over a game, but very inexperienced Alabama team.
Yeah, Alabama really gave him a great effort, but it was Krauser in the second half was brilliant. 1 for 8 in the first half and ended up with 19. And did a brilliant job in leading Mr. Jamie right to his first win.
Jamie Dixon.
God, Jamie gets his first win.
First ever game as a head coach. I saw him around here. I think he came back to watch this second
Jamie
game.
Dixon was walking around?
Yeah.
He's on cloud 9. He's got his first W. It won't be his last, that's for sure.
Now let's see what comes out of this timeout. A couple of quick buckets for the Zags, getting them back within 7 of St. Joseph's.
I got a kick watching the Zags assistant coaches going wild. Bill Greer, Leon Rice, and Tommy Lloyd. They're right into it big time. Man-to-man defense out of the zone.
Nelson. Good rebound. That was Barley at about 6'2", getting up there and bringing it down, and they'll reset.
I'll tell you, Barley's really played well off the bench. He's been a positive force for them off the bench.
And as he goes by Ravio, Ravio commits the foul, his first. Just the 4th team foul on the Zags.
You know, St. Joe's playing a lot of ball handlers right now. You can really say they got 4 guards on the floor.
Well, Phil Martelli decided instead of worrying about Gonzaga's size too much, he would go small and quick and try to make Gonzaga worry about his team's quickness.
And the one big guy they got is a human eraser, Mr. Jones.
Bryant's had some good moments as well when he's been in there.
Tough to match up right now with these little guards.
Yeah, right now, Pat Carroll is the second biggest guy on the floor for the Hawks, and he's really about a 6'4" wingman.
Look how quick he is with the ball. I mean, he's got every little move with the ball in his hands. And he makes that rock talk, man. He makes that rock talk.
That sequence earlier this half where he had the ball on the string, lost it, got it back, another pass, the spin move. I mean, that was something else.
He's very strong, physical, too.
Yeah. Let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, guys, the last time Phil Martelli and St. Joe's had this kind of expectations on them coming into the season, they did not fare very well. Remember 2001 when they took Stanford in the NCAA tournament right down to the wire? They returned 4 starters, including Bill Phillips, Marvin O'Connor, Naeem Crenshaw. They lost their opening game, had some injuries, and really fell flat on their face. Went to the NIT, but it was a real disappointing season. I asked Phil, did it change him as a coach? Has it helped him with the expectations this year? He said, you know what? We really didn't know how to act that year, how to operate with the weight of expectations. What I've told our guys is we've got great leadership with Jameer Nelson and Tyrone Barley. He said we're just going to try to get better at one thing every single day. We want to go on a very steep incline and not decline during the season. They're off to a great start, no question.
Ooh, they're on an incline right now. There's no decline, I can tell you that. Stock up.
West trying to find somebody underneath, but he turns it over, and the Zags can inch a little bit closer.
Right now, up on the ball inside the violet. They use the screen and a roll to the basket. Roll to the basket, dump it inside.
Step. Somebody got a piece of that ball, and it is out of bounds, back over to St. Joe's. Well, the Hawks trying to deal a defeat to Gonzaga here in the final game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic for Madison Square Garden in New York City in front of a big pro-St. Joseph's crowd. Thousands of people coming up from Philadelphia. SportsCenter is coming up next here on ESPN2 at the conclusion of this game.
And those people haven't been disappointed as of yet, that's for sure. 5:40 on the clock, up 7. Big possession right now.
The lob is good, and Violet wanted a foul as well. Didn't get it, but even without that, the Zags are back within 5.
You better be careful, they'll get a technical. They're on a foul, get a team. Got scared there by Mr. Harris.
A 6-0 run now for Gonzaga. And now the St. Joe's fans starting to make a little bit more noise. They're a little bit worried about this lead right now.
I got to put the ball in Nelson's hands. Clear out, get him a little one-on-one.
Again, the small lineup for St. Joseph's. 3 guards and Carroll, a wing guy, and then 1 big guy in Jones.
See, right now he's got to take him one-on-one.
Shot clock running down. Nelson the fadeaway again. Rebound, Jones.
That's a big-time rebound.
If he could do it again, he'd probably kick the ball out to a guard, though. Gonzaga coming back. They're on a 6-0 run right now to get back within 5.
And you can see the experience right now. When you look at Gonzaga, that experience, not folding. You can just see the makeup of their team. Look at their roster. Look at the people they've beaten in the past. I know that this club can play.
Step.
Okay.
Rebound, Hawks.
He's having one of his toughest nights probably in his college days.
And again, he's had to work hard from the moment this game began, whether it was West or Nelson or Barley guarding him. None of them have given him an inch.
We're down to winning time right now. You go to the last 4 minutes, Dan. This is where shot selection, we talk about making free throws, all are vital to lead you to that winner's circle.
West finds Nelson on the cut. Jones with a rebound, and he falls out of bounds over Nelson and turns it over to the Zags.
What a great backdoor cut, but they don't convert. Mark Few in that timeout, Doris Burke talked about when they were down 11. He said, hey, possession by possession, we're still in this game. And he was right. Positive thinking, always looking at the glass half filled rather than half empty.
4 minutes to go. Gonzaga with the ball. Down only 5.
Rages online, only on PlayStation 2.
EA Games.
College Hero. Hey, College Hero. Record breaker. Back to zero. It's courts to be run. There are games to be won. College Hero, you just begun. Introducing the Icon loaded weapon and the freshman class of the first school, only at Champ Sports.
I'm wanted in 4 states, but it's all good. Got me new driver's license and a sweet new pickup. V8, baby, 500 horsepower. Oh, and 4 of them mud flaps with the naked ladies on them. Brrr, mamacita. And the best part is, it's all free. Yeah, well, for me at least.
Introducing City Identity Theft Solutions. Free with any City card. Help getting your life back? That's using your card wisely.
They're saying running back by committee is bad for football. I was just saying I see the relevance of committees, just not for running backs. Dan Patrick just used the word unitard in his column. I was just saying unitard is one of the most underutilized words in the English language. Wait, if I was thinking that, and they were thinking that.
As we come back inside of Madison Square Garden to look at one of the big plays for the Zags as they try to mount a comeback. Step to Violet, a low percentage play maybe, but it pays off for the Zags as St. Joseph's lead is down to 5. It's a 6-0 run for Gonzaga. We talked about at the beginning of the game how Gonzaga's advantage probably would be their big guys, and St. Joseph's strength is their backcourt, their perimeter game, and that has truly been the case. Look at the numbers on Nelson and West here tonight.
Well, you expect that. I think Mark Few talked about that also with Doris at halftime. He said, hey, we expect their guards are going to score. They put most of their shots up. Their offense goes through them, and there's no doubt about that.
Morris to the back into the game now for Gonzaga. Along with Steph, Skinner, Violet, and Mallon. Again, it's the small lineup for St. Joe's. The 3 small guards, Carroll on the wing, and Jones the big guy. And it is out of bounds, but it will stay at this end of the floor.
You know, Violet had that open lane. Looked like he's going in for that conversion. You know, people talk about seeding when you look at Gonzaga that they don't get a real great seed. Bottom line is when you get opportunities to play these kind of teams like St. Joe's, you have to win.
Skinner misses the 3. Nelson with yet another rebound.
Hey, he rebounds for a little guy, doesn't he?
West. And the rebound, Steph.
Nice pass by Steph.
Morrison. Did he walk? Yes, he did.
Yeah, good call right there. No doubt the walking violation. Paul Hess with the excellent call. Reggie Cofer doing an outstanding job of Mr. Hess.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Still a 5-point game. St. Joe's with the lead and the ball. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Did he call that baby? Did he call that baby off the glass? That's a killer. That really hurts.
Pat Carroll with a 3 off glass, and the lead is 8. And now a steal. Barley's got it. He's got 4 teammates with him, but he didn't know it. It was a 5-on-1. West to the bench as they turn it over. One more look at the last time down the floor. Carroll banking home a 3.
Hey, the bank must be open, baby. There it is. There's no way he planned that, I can tell you that. But he's going to take it.
Oh, yeah. Give him credit. He didn't smirk or anything on his way back down the floor.
They've been struggling offensively. That was a big 3. They needed that, baby.
Could have had another 2 this last time down at a 5-on-1, but Barley didn't know it. And now we've got a push going to go on Nelson, and that will be the 4th foul on Jameer Nelson.
He's going to leave him on the floor, certainly with 2:28 on the clock.
And into the bonus now go the Zags as Tony Skinner, the senior from Albuquerque, goes to the line. Still plenty of time for Gonzaga to make a run.
I mean, it's amazing when you think about the 4-year record of Mark Few. 49-7 in conference play, 105-29, 4 straight championships in conference play, 4 straight NCAA appearances, average 26 wins per season, 46-3 at home. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. They rank in the last 4 years number 6 in terms of wins. Number 1 with 118, Kansas 108, Oklahoma 107, Arizona 106, Tulsa 106, Gonzaga 105, and number 7, the Turks of Maryland 103.
You know, Mark Few has said that he would only consider leaving Gonzaga if he got a job coaching at a place where he felt he had a really good chance to win a national championship. He now feels he's got a really good chance at Gonzaga because of the caliber of players that they're able to recruit.
And they're getting that new facility next year. Certainly going to create a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. He's starting to get commitments out of the best players out of the West there.
But they're in danger of dropping their season opener. St. Joe's with a 6-point lead, just over 2 minutes to play. And on the Nelson drive, a foul by Knight. And Nelson's not happy, feeling that Knight went after him a little bit too hard.
Got to play right now. Knight got up on him, played him tough defensively, and he's going to have to expect that.
And Phil Martelli just waved at him and said, no, pointing to his temple, saying, don't do that. Don't get involved in any of that stuff.
You got to have that good basketball eye. Went over, shook hands. He's too good a player.
So the ball out of bounds, off Knight, and it will be St. Joseph's ball.
With the size of Knight and the quickness of Knight now, trying to check him. He gets any kind of screen.
It was a foul on Knight, check that, but just the 16th foul on the Zags. So a fresh 35 for St. Joseph's here, so they can milk the clock a little bit more.
Let's make the court really well. Excellent spacing, well coached. They have some outstanding coaches in the city of Philadelphia. It starts with the Hall of Famer John Chaney, with the Fran Dunphy, Jay Wright.
Nelson, a desperation shot, got rim, but the rebound to the Zags.
Bad shot. This is a big possession right here, Dan. This is a major possession.
Timeout, Gonzaga.
Good timeout. They're going to make this win happen right here. They need a conversion.
Sports Center coming up after the conclusion of this game right here on ESPN2. And look at some of the stories. The Sixers answer the champs. Boomer on the battle of the Bills. And it's the Major League Baseball steroid policy. Toughen up. That's next on Sports Center. Well, again, the difference in this game, especially here in the second half, Dick, as you talked about, the outstanding play of the St. Joseph's backcourt, one of the best backcourts in the country.
Well, there's no doubt it's one of the premier backcourts, and it starts with the little guy, Jameer Nelson, his penetration ability, his ability to innovate. But it's more than Mr. Nelson. Mr. West is partner can play as well. He has great scoring ability, Delonte West. And we're going to watch him right now with a little reverse layup. And they add Mr. Powell's jump shot as well. You talk about tandems. There are many tandems in the nation.
You know, you look
at
Nelson 16, West with 16, Carroll with 12, and Barley, a guard, off the bench with 12. And those 4 players have 56 points for St. Joseph's tonight. 56 of the 69 points that they have.
Shouldn't shock you, though, when you really prepare for them. And you talk to people, everybody just raves about their backcourt. And deservedly so.
Martelli getting them pumped up for the last minute and 21 seconds. Gonzaga down to 1 timeout after this one.
They're going to look at 3 right now if they can get a good look. Certainly, if it's available. If it's not, you take the high percentage deuce. But if that 3 is available, people want to know who I was responding to there. I was responding to my partner, Mr. Schumann. I was responding to my producer in my ear, Mr. Steer.
You're asking questions and you're answering on the air.
And let me tell you, for 8 teams to prepare in 2 nights, our producer and our director have done a phenomenal job. Yep. Mr. Steer and Mr. Holmes, A+, my friends, for your preparation.
I second that. Steph turns it over.
Big turnover, a big turnover. You don't expect to see that on the All-American candidate. Down 6 with a minute and plus to go on the clock. You can't turn it over in that sequence. Fine Chancellor of Gonzaga's here. Had a chance to speak to him. Wearing his Zag shirt, cheering. Spreading the court. Very tough to play him in a spread that court. Oh, turnover there.
Gonzaga gets to the back. Step up. Gonzaga's going to run it down, but they missed an opportunity for an easy 2 points. 40 seconds to go.
Plus, it takes time off the clock. A little walking violation. Look at Phil Martelli doing a little dance. Our Louis Corner-Second when he used to be on that sideline. Oh, do I miss the little fella? The Corner-Seconds of the world, the McGuires, the Valvanos, the Massiminos. Where have you all gone? All the guys with character.
Timeout, St. Joseph's. Well, you got to love Martelli's character. He's got as much personality as any coach going right now, don't you think?
I really love him. I love him on that sideline. He's genuine, man. He's got passion. He's got feeling. You got to like that. Hawk Hill is going to be celebrating tonight.
You know what? And it's the caliber of this team, but also the way that Phil Martelli has built the program and the way that he has connected with the student body at St. Joseph's. One of the big reasons why there are thousands and thousands of people here from Philadelphia who have driven up and set a Coaches versus Cancer record for purchasing the most tickets from one school in this tournament.
Well, as we said earlier, to put it in perspective, St. John's, the local school, gets 600 tickets. They return 120. They get their ticket. They want more. They sell over 4,000 from Philadelphia. Apathy. It's apathy right now for the St. John's program. And I feel for kids out there, the kids that play, all those kids that gave everything, they played their heart out last night. They may not have made shots, but Ingram and Hill and Mr. Jarvis and his kids played their heart out. But the people did not support them. And it's opening game. And I say shame on you to those fans.
All of the games competitive here in this event with Wake Forest beating Memphis by 9. Marquette over St. John's by 7 last night. Tonight, Pittsburgh over Alabama by 9. And right now, St. Joe's leading Gonzaga by 6. Boy, they do a nice job getting it over. All those ball handlers on the floor.
They spread the court really well. It's going to mean the free throw line now. Convert on a free throw line, you go home, a happy group. You miss, you make it a little bit more interesting. I can't say the coach will lose any more hair. He's got no hair to lose.
And a long way to come for the Zags. The first ever appearance in this building for the Gonzaga basketball program looks like it's going to end in defeat.
Well, my friends, another season is upon us. Officially, the season is here in college hoops with the completion of the Coaches versus Cancer. The question, will we have another surprise? Will there be another Syracuse who wasn't rated by all the coaches and experts? In fact, they didn't get rated until February, and they went on the march to win the national title. The beauty of the NCAA, the best sporting event of them all, March Madness. Nothing is better. It is awesome, baby, with a capital A.
Skinner, 3 out there. Each of the last 2 years, the eventual national champion has lost a game here in this tournament. Maryland 2 years ago, Syracuse last year. Maybe that's a little bit of consolation for Gonzaga right now. I don't think so. It's St. Joe's having all the fun.
Well, St. Joe's is having all the fun, but Gonzaga is the kind of team, when you talk about losing this early, who can regroup and get themselves back quickly. Because remember, and I'm not taking anything away from St. Joe's, but even Phil Martelli would be the first to tell you, without Ronnie Turioff in the middle and without a healthy club, this is a different Gonzaga team.
And Gonzaga still has out-of-conference games against Georgia, Maryland, Missouri, Stanford, and Tulsa, among others. Don't forget the preseason NIT begins next week as Violet buries about a 38-footer.
You know, St. Joe's is going to play in that Pete Newell Classic as well with Pat. That's an outstanding classic out there. Jeff Bellinger and his guys do a great job with it.
How about that? Think Jameer Nelson is happy he came back for one more year in college right now. 20 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, leading the Hogs over the Zags 73-66. Once again, the final here, St. Joe's by 7 over Gonzaga. Sports Center is next here on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Dick Vitale, Doris Burke, and our entire ESPN crew, thanks for watching.
Wake Forest 92, Indiana 61, and despite 27 points from Bracy Wright, Indiana was almost never in the game. Skip Rosser going to his bench here in the late minutes. He still has Chris Paul in the game. Giving off to Danilus. Denalus fired up some threes here in the late going. He was expected to be a leader on this team, but he's had a hard time just staying on the court. He had a wisdom tooth that got infected, cost him a lot of practice time in September. Also a tendonitis in a knee, a sprained ankle that cost him playing time as the season got underway.
I'll tell you what's helped is the emergence of Eric Williams. He seems now to be that dominant player they expected him to be, and that'll allow Denalus to take his time and get better, get well.
They want to get Chris Ellis back in there as well. He's a 6'9" sophomore, and they'd like him to play when he's ready in a couple of weeks. 92-61. We have a timeout with 3:06 left. Winding down for the Demon Deacons.
Mercedes-Benz Winter Dream has begun with 2.9% APR financing for 36 months on select Mercedes-Benz C, E, M, and S-Class models. So visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Designed to resist water, dust, snow, imitation. There's no other digital camera like it. Stylus Digital from Olympus. Designed to do more.
I thought that dream belonged to other men, 'cause each time I got close, they fall apart again. Oh, I'm on paradise. We're knocking on heaven's door. I'm on paradise.
Rated E for everyone.
Okay, do you remember anything before the piano hit your head?
No.
Name?
You tell me.
What city are we in?
France? Hey, that's a Wild Mountain chicken sandwich from Wendy's. With their spicy chicken, Colby Jack, bacon, red onion.
And a smoky sauce?
A hot and smoky southwestern pepper sauce. And you can get it on a hamburger. Fantastico.
For a wild flavor you can't forget, try our new Wild Mountain combos. Wendy's, it's better here.
So, where was the Wendy's?
France?
And remember, you can eat great even late.
The challenge continues. Coming up next, the tip-off in about another 7 minutes. Number 11, Illinois, against number 10, North Carolina. And our 9-8-9 players of the game, Chris Paul and Eric Williams. Paul, the freshman, with 20 points. Eric Williams with a career-high 25. So they combined for 45 points against Indiana.
And like you said, freshman and sophomore, these guys are going to be around for a long time. Eric Williams particularly playing with a great deal of confidence, and Chris Paul comes just as advertised.
Williams took 19 shots, just about every one of them inside the paint, as he really took over. Henley can't get the roll.
Nice speed by Paul, though.
Joyce backing out. New shot clock. 2:45 to play. The back door. Well, they've done everything else tonight. On the second effort, it falls in. Prosser has to be delighted with this effort. 94-61.
And you bet he was going to stay down? No way.
No chance. He's pretty quiet over there. I think he's pretty contented.
He's evaluating some guys. We talk about the depth of his team. The better his bench gets, the better his team obviously gets. He's got some guys out there playing for more playing time.
And he has a chance here to bring on some of the walk-ons in the final couple of minutes. Timeout. 2:05 left. He asked for that timeout to make certain he can bring off some of the key players and bring on the bench. Quick timeout just to get in the kids. 94-63, and a thrashing of Indiana by Wake Forest in this one. Williams on the drive and gives it up. Joyce with a pull-up pop. Pretty sweet jump shot just off the bench. Joyce expected to be pretty regular in the rotation. He's a sophomore out of Mount Airy, North Carolina. Hasn't played too much tonight. 97-63. They may get 100 yet. Wake Forest will turn it over. 1:26 to go. Illinois and North Carolina still to come as the ACC Big Ten Challenge continues.
Well, that's a lot of pressure to put on the walk-ons to try to get to 100 points. And you leave Richard Joyce out there. He's the one guy. There he is, too.
Joyce picks it off. Has his little highlight for the Knights. That gets him to 99. The regulars delighted. Not too many have left. They want to see them go over the century mark. Out of bounds, the Hoosiers will retain it with 1:01 left. All smiles on the Wake bench. The biggest smiles by Danilus and Williams. Nobody grinning over there. Strickland on the inbound lays it in.
And look at Indiana, they're digging in. I mean, they're not just giving this away.
Williams goes down after it. 45.9 seconds left. The ACC about to go to 2-0.
Here's that competitive pride I was talking about. You got to stay down, man. I'm not letting you. You're going to have to earn these next two.
Joyce got it. 100 points for Wake. The last 6 by Joyce. They lead at 100-65. They're in tie-dye heaven in Winston-Salem. Final 10 seconds, but Indiana got crushed tonight. Wake Forest ranked number 16 in America. That might be a whole lot better than that. They beat up on the Indiana Hoosiers out of the Big Ten, and a win for the ACC. They're now 2-0 in the challenge. Illinois, North Carolina coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Wake Forest wins it 100-67. The ACC up 2-0 in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Skip Prosser's team is now 4-0. Now let's send it out to Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale standing by in Greensboro, North Carolina. Guys.
Carolina programs right here.
Two teams, each with new head coaches, each off to a hot start. It's number 11 Illinois, number 10 North Carolina next.
Hello, how are you?
After 15 years at Kansas, Roy Williams has returned to Tar Heel country. But he'll have to keep stars like Sean May healthy if North Carolina is to rejoin the nation's elite. Tonight, speedster D. Brown and the Illini try to clip the heels. And welcome to the Coliseum here in Greensboro, North Carolina for continuing coverage of the ACC Big Ten Challenge presented by 989 Sports. We've got a couple of unbeaten teams and a couple of ranked teams. Number 11 Illinois, number 10 North Carolina. Each of these teams with its toughest test so far on the young season. As you can see with Florida State beating Northwestern last night and then Wake demolishing Indiana tonight. The ACC, which has won all 4 of these challenges, has an early 2-0 lead this year. Dan Schulman here in Greensboro, along with Dick Vitale, getting ready for this game. And I got to say, you look, he's got his game face on tonight. But what color is this? What color is that?
Orange Crush.
You're in big trouble in Champaign. I want you in big trouble in Champaign.
right. Nobody got me an orange shirt.
We got a couple of great point guards, as good as any in the country just about, right?
Well, you know, you're the point guard, and you don't get two better than what we're going to see on the floor today. Our star watch has Mr. Felton and Mr. D. Brown. When you talk about speed and energy, D. Brown is the catalyst. Raymond Felton, everybody loves Raymond. He can really pass the rock. I really believe they're two of my own, Thomas Edison. They're creators, they're innovators. They know how to find the open man, and you have to have them to win big in college basketball.
These two teams met in the ACC Big Ten Challenge last year. That game was up in Champaign, and Illinois won by 27, although it was about an 8-point game with 8 minutes to go, and then the Illini just went wild at the end of the game. Roy Williams, of course, the head coach now of North Carolina, and when Bill Self went to Kansas to replace Williams, Bruce Weber went to Illinois from Southern Illinois. So we've got a couple of coaches in new places here this year as the Illini visiting Orange before the opening tip.
Well, the one thing Roy Williams has done already, he has created a buzz about North Carolina hoops again.
Smith almost turns it over. It's going to stay with the Illini. Obviously, here in Greensboro, we've got a big North Carolina crowd, but some concerns as well about the health of the Tar Heels. Here's Doris Berg.
Dan, depth will be an issue all season long for Roy Williams. He comes in tonight with some notable bumps and bruises. In particular, Jawad Williams, their leading scorer, suffered a hip pointer in practice on Sunday. He is on the floor to start the game. Jackie Manuel will also play. He had suffered a left knee sprain. Depth will be key tonight as Illinois will go at least 9 deep, guys.
I'll tell you one thing, Doris, for a starting five, Roy Williams' club can match up with anyone in America. They have 4 potential NBA players in their starting lineup. The problem is, as you said, Doris, so well, going to the bench.
There's the Illinois starting lineup, and it all begins in the backcourt for the Illini. D. Brown and Darren Williams, a couple of sophomores, each had outstanding freshman seasons, especially Brown. James Augustine is another sophomore. This is a young, but at the same time, experienced team because all these guys got a lot of minutes last year.
Well, they got a lot of minutes. They won the Big Ten tournament. They won 25 games before losing after beating Western Kentucky. They lost to Notre Dame in the second round.
Keep an eye on the matchup at point as Powell finishes strong on the feed from Smith. And it's the Illini drawing first blood.
Nice pass by Smith. Excellent backdoor cut. Very unselfish. Look at the big guy. He draws a double team. Wide open. There's the great look by the 7-footer Smith. Wide open.
Foul on Jawad Williams, his first, and to the line goes Powell. He is off to a very good start, averaging better than 16 points per game for Illinois.
He's an outstanding offensive rebounder, a guy that can do a lot of damage. As you look at Bruce Weber, did a fantastic job at Southern Illinois to salute these.
Here's the point guard matchup. D. Brown against Raymond Felton. Last year in this game, Felton turned it over 8 times against the pressure defense of the Illini. The pants over the left hand. And ripping down the rebound is Augustine.
Augustine could really run the court. What they're hoping to get out of him a little bit more this year, Dan, is post-up ability on the interior.
Brown off the screen, free for the jumper, a little bit strong. Rebound, Sean May. Remember how important he was last year. Now the Tar Heels struggled after he broke his foot. Now the bounce to the other end for Raymond Felton.
If he makes jump shots, he's unbelievable. You cannot defend him. He's like Langford up at Kansas. He can make the jump shot. Forget about it.
Depending on who you ask, Felton considered maybe preseason player of the ACC. And D. Brown got a lot of consideration. He voted him preseason player of the year in the Big Ten.
Preseason doesn't count, my friend. It's postseason that counts.
Darren Williams to the bucket of the Illini back up by 3. We expect, like Kansas, Florida, a bit of a trap here as Jawad Williams got hit the ball.
Well, that hit looked okay to me in his warm-up. He's from out of the Cleveland area, had a big game, and they needed a big game out of him to beat Cleveland State. Mike Garland's club challenged them right to the end.
Jawad Williams coming to the play tonight is the leading scorer in the ACC at better than 21 points per game.
Trying to take Smith away from the basket to utilize his passing ability. He's also got a nice touch inside. Stamina's a problem for the big guy.
Darren Williams got the way with a walk. You can hear how the fans feel about it. And now over the back goes Augustine to commit the foul.
Augustine definitely climbed the back right there. He was underrated coming out of high school as you look at the starting 5 for North Carolina. What a dynamic starting 5.
And again, they weren't sure they would have Williams in the starting lineup tonight because of the hip pointing that he suffered in Sunday. Felton and May and McCants, last year's terrific freshman trio. They won the preseason NIT, but May got hurt. And wound up with the postseason NIT. John May was a goal count on Smith.
For the basket. May's got great ability inside. Marshall. His daddy played up in Bloomington, player of the year, undefeated. The team in 1976. Look at him operating inside. It's blocked. He comes right back. He said, I tried with the left. Now I'll try with the right.
7-5 Carolina. May about 15 pounds lighter than he was last year. One of the reasons he takes some pressure off that foot.
I'll say one thing, that he's not gotten hurt. I don't think we see Roy Williams still doing North Carolina.
Three right straight down. Rebound to Cass, who had 13 rebounds.
Everybody loves Raymond. Oh, they're going to love him in Chapel Hill. He is an absolute super South. Mr. Felton.
Standing here in Greensboro, this may be a so-called neutral site for Carolina.
Forget about neutral site. Forget about neutral site, partner. Look at the blue all over this place. Carolina blue. Look at Felton. Well, by Mr. Brown. Taking it up strong. Got that strong body. Lays it on the glass.